Women don't understand men's loneliness. Not really. A man's loneliness, it isn't about having people around him. It's about not being understood in his silence.
Look at that. Hey guys, AJ here, back on that one for you. So, as one of the major milestones in becoming a man is learning how to enjoy your time alone. Guys, solitude is a gift, right? Solitude is something you should enjoy. Because, guys, for the first time in history, men can be adults and be left the hell alone. Guys, even 50 years ago, guys that were 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, they were already married and had multiple kids, you know? Now, guys, us men in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, we can be left the hell alone. We can play a PlayStation, work on our old Chevelle, you know? Put your 40K figures together, go to the gym, even work out at home and be left the hell alone, right? Guys, it's a wonderful time to be alive. Guys, here we have a content creator called Dad Mode and Dark Mode, right? And he has a video here. It's called Why Men Are Choosing Solitude Over Society. So guys, we're going to react to this. And I'll also drop the link to this video and his channel. I'll drop them both in the description. I'll also pin them in the comments. Guys, go over there, drop him a like, drop him a sub, because he's coming up. He's doing some good work. And also, you can watch it just in case you don't want to hear me interrupting it. So guys, we'll get into this. But before we do, like, subscribe, drop a comment. Guys, I have a second channel called 50 and 304, so please go and check that out. That's linked in my description. Join my Discord. Check out the playlist at the end. I'm offering memberships now, so guys, hit the join button or the link in the description. Thanks to all you guys that are already members. The memberships help the channel out. And let's get into this.
Men don't lose their lives in one moment. They lose them in pieces. A year here, a compromise there, and before you know it, they bled out 2 decades without even realizing it. And when they finally wake up, it's not to a triumphant sunrise, but to the horror that their best years were given away for nothing.
That's true.
That is what I want to talk about today. The truth most men already feel in their bones, but rarely speak out loud. And you don't have to wake up at 40 or 50 and suddenly become disillusioned. It happens in silence. Every agreement you didn't challenge. Every woman you stayed with just to avoid the argument. Every job you swallowed because you were told to be responsible. That's the slow bleed. The hemorrhage. It's the theft of time disguised as duty. And the tragedy is, most men don't realize they're dying while they're still alive.
And guys, I agree, because they say that men who get divorced, they'll end up self-deleting. Guys, it's not the money. It's not the fact they can't see their kids. It's the fact that they lost 20 plus years of their life. Guys will get divorced at 45 or 50, and when they're supposed to be planning for the rest of their life, they have to start all over again. Crazy stuff, right?
And let's be honest, most men would rather be alone than controlled.
True. Yep.
That is why you see so many of us checking out. And it's not weakness, it's resistance. It's choosing solitude over suffocation. The modern world doesn't offer men brotherhood. It offers surveillance and micromanagement and conditional love. So what do men do? They retreat. Not necessarily because they hate people, but because they can't stomach one more leash around their neck.
And guys, retreat might have a negative connotation, like, oh, you're retreating because you're a coward. Nope. Guys, he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. Men are retreating because it's the best course of action, you know?
Women don't understand men's loneliness. Not really. A man's loneliness isn't about having people around him. It's about not being understood in his silence. He can be in a room full of people, full of his family, his friends, his coworkers, whatever, and still feel completely invisible. That's the kind of loneliness that eats men alive. It isn't solved by hugs or being told you're enough. It's solved by someone actually seeing the weight he carries without asking him to apologize for it. Carl Jung said that every man carries a shadow. But in our culture, men are not allowed to integrate it. Instead, we're told to suppress it and pretend it doesn't exist.
That's true.
And what happens? The mask grows thicker. Men put on the face of compliance, the face of the good worker, the face of the agreeable husband. Meanwhile, their soul decays in the dark. Dostoevsky understood this. He wrote men not as heroes but as broken mirrors, reflecting both guilt and longing. That's closer to the truth of the modern man than anything you'll see on an Instagram reel.
It's true. Because, guys, all these trad cons, right? Well, if you were a man of God, you would just keep on keeping on, and, all this stuff, all this loneliness that you feel, well, your duties as a Christian man should override all that stuff. That's what you should do. Just give yourself more to a woman, yeah! Clown world.
In Notes from Underground, Dostoevsky described a man who hated himself for submitting to society, yet also hated society for demanding his submission. That's every man I know. He goes to work, pays his bills, nods along in conversations that bore him to death. But inside he's underground, resentful, suffocating, yet too afraid to explode. Until one day he does. That's why midlife crises happen. They're not about cars or hair dye. They're about the unbearable tension of decades of silence finally ripping apart. Solzhenitsyn described life in the Gulag not just as a physical imprisonment, but as a war against the human soul. Men today live in a different kind of Gulag. Not one of barbed wire, but routine. Debt, bureaucracy, the constant surveillance of peers and family expectations.
And who are the prison guards that have the stun guns, right? The beanbag rounds, It's these modern 304s. It's these wokey woke politicians, right? It's the LDHD TVs and that are pushing all these policies to back men into corners and destroy the society we've built.
The gulag of a man's life is built out of being a good dad, or being a good husband, or being a good employee, while every desire of his own is treated like contraband. And the punishment for breaking the rules? Exile, divorce, alienation, poverty. Every man knows this risk, which is why he stays compliant until he rots. Nietzsche warned us, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. The problem is, men today are given the how, but never the why.
Guys, here, let's pump the brakes, right? Guys, I agree with him wholeheartedly here, but here's the missing piece. Women were allowed to walk away from their traditional gender role and expectations and biological purpose, right? And go and try and do anything that they want, and they weren't shamed for it. They were encouraged. But the moment that men that men say, you know what? I don't want to take care of society anymore. I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. I don't want to give my money away to some women. All of a sudden it's,
how dare you?
Right? we always had an automatic why we're doing things, and that's a wife and kids. But now society changed. So our why as men should be able to change too, right? So it's even worse because women are allowed to explore their wants, needs, dreams, aspirations, but us men aren't. They call us Peter Pans and not growing up because we want to do what interests us, and they're going to label that as immature. Clown world.
You're told how to behave, how to work, how to date, how to parent, but never why. And without that why, life becomes machinery. A man wakes up at 40 and realizes he's been living someone else's life, serving someone else's script. And in that moment, when he finally sees it, he's either destroyed by despair or reborn in defiance.
That's facts.
This is the brutal truth. The clock starts ticking at 40. You either awaken or you stay asleep until death. Because at 40, you can't afford illusions anymore. You see through the lies, through the Instagram fantasies, through the Hallmark romance, through the corporate, we're a family nonsense. At 40, you know exactly how much time you've lost. And the question becomes, will you keep bleeding? Or will you fight back for what little you have left? So what's the answer? It's not the therapy cliches. It's not self-care. It's reclaiming your time with surgical precision. Cutting out the people who waste it. Walking away from systems that drain it. Finding men who will fight alongside you, not drain you.
That's facts, guys. That's facts, guys. I say that all the time. And guys, he says cutting out those that are going to drain you. That's women, guys. And guys, this is why I say men minding their own business, right? MMTOB. Mind your own business, guys. Get up, go to work, right? Pay your bills. But guys, your life is yours. Your job, don't be a drone. Don't make your job your identity, right? Guys, you should only go to work to get a good enough job to where it funds a really awesome personal life. That's what, guys, my job is not rewarding. My day job, it's not, it doesn't give me some sense of contentment. It pays really, really well so I can do a lot of stuff. I can travel, I can go to breweries, I can do all the stuff that I love to do. You know what I'm saying? Guys, your life is your own. Accepting solitude, learning solitude, that's the way to do it. That's the first step towards having better mental health, better physical health, spiritual health, emotional health, is leaving these 304s alone, leaving these beta males that buy into this trad con and feminist foolishness. Beta! You know what I'm saying? That's the only way that things are going to change, is if enough men walk away. So, all right, guys, let me know what you guys think of this video. There's a little bit left, guys, so you can go and check that out via the link in the description. Yeah, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.